I moved into a new place recently, and as my husband and I were going through things, he asked me this very dramatic question to help us get through the purge. If the house was on fire, what would make your list of things to save? My late tia Nana's scarf, my mother's journal, the empanada and chicken nugget my cousin crocheted. Those are just some of the things that would devastate me if they were lost. Chances are that you too would grab a piece of clothing, a knickknack, a family heirloom that sparks a memory for you or helps you feel connected to a loved one. And that's because these things are not just things. They've become a part of us in some way. So today, let's talk about why we as humans place so much meaning on inanimate objects. And later on, I will show you some of my favorite things and the stories behind them. So first, we have to ask ourselves about personal attachment. What does that mean exactly? Well, it's cultural. How we feel about objects is largely deemed by what society or our communities have deemed meaningful. For example, a crucifix or a fertility goddess figurine have their respective meanings based on what your beliefs or cultural values are. But sometimes people have those objects for different reasons. Like maybe someone's late grandmother gave them a cross, and even though they aren't Christian, they wear that cross just to feel closer to their grandma. And as we all know, there are so many reasons why someone would assign meaning to things, and no one else needs to understand why. Which brings me to why we tend to have favorite objects in the first place. And what about them evokes those strong feelings within us? Well, it has a lot to do with identity and how we differentiate who we are from the rest of the world. We tend to think of ourselves as the main character. And in a way, objects are the set pieces of our lives. Just think about any home tour. The decor in a person's home evokes a sense of pride. It's what they've chosen to represent an extension of them, whether it's their culture, their tastes, their achievements. So the things we love tend to represent our inner selves or who we want to be. And we can't forget the social aspect of objects. Oftentimes, they make us feel like we're a part of something, like when you wear a team jersey to go to a game, or if you're alone at a party and see someone with a t-shirt from the same band that you both like, or merch from a series that you both watch. Seeing those things makes you want to connect with others. It makes you want to talk to those people. And objects can also reinforce social status. Just think of the prestige of an award, whether it's a crown at homecoming or a golden statue at the Oscars. Those objects reinforce a person's connection to a group. And they also represent the best or certain prestige within that group. But when we look at objects that are dearest to us, whether we acquire them in a group setting or not, we want these things to be singularized. In other words, we want them to be special for us. We look at our own individual circumstances around them and try to find ways that our stuff is different from everyone else's, even if it's mass-produced. For example, I'm sure your favorite book has meaning, and not just because of the messages that anyone can glean from it. It probably has meaning because of certain things that you were going through that you can relate to within the text. Or maybe someone gave it to you that is very, very special to you. Those things are about how you personally relate to something, relate to that book. And as humans, we tend to want things to be exceptional. We want them to be just for us. We want them to be meaningful. And that's sort of the beauty of how we function. We can make anything special. So with that said, I am going to show you around my house and share some of my favorite things with you, aka things I would save in a hypothetical fire. And I'm going to share some of the stories behind them. The first thing that I would rescue would be pretty easy because it's already on my finger, and that is my engagement ring. When I look at this ring, it just reminds me of how young we were when we got engaged. We were 25. We had a place to live, but not much more than that. All we really knew was that we wanted to be together. I remember people telling us, like, or asking us, why would you decide to get married? And I would try to find a really logical explanation for that, like taxes, or because, if one of us ends up in the hospital, the other one can go see them. The real answer is because we wanted to. It was just a decision that was completely based on emotion. And sometimes those decisions work out, and it's really worked out well for us. It's very, very precious to me, and I would definitely save this first. So next is this really beautiful painting that my dad let me have. This painting was hanging in our home probably since before I was born, and we always just call it Lady with an Umbrella. My dad actually got this from the painter whose name is, I'm sorry for this pronunciation, but I'm doing my best. It's Huy Tung, and it was painted in 1979. My dad, who is Vietnamese, it came to this country a few years before that and bought this. When I look at it, I think about the beauty that is Vietnam, and I have never been there, but I hope to go very soon. I love how calm this painting is. It's sort of one with nature. When I look at this painting, I instantly feel a sense of peace, partly because there are so many different types of greens. There's a mint green, a sort of gray green, aquas, forest greens that are almost black. And then, of course, the rain helps add to that sense of calm, that sense of peace. The woman in this painting, she doesn't seem to be in a hurry. She is just kind of going about her business. And I would like to think that she is having a nice time just by herself, alone with her thoughts. It just means so much to me to have this in my home because it helps me feel connected to my culture in this way. And that is super, super important to me. So next on my list is my mom's journal, and she kept this and started it when I was about 7 weeks old. All of the entries are basically writing to me, happy birthday, Audrey, Merry Christmas, Audrey. Even though it is all addressed to me, it is a story about her and her life and so many things that she was going through at that time. Not to get into too much detail, it's not my story to tell, but my mom was 25 when she had me. She was a teacher in the LA public school system, a second grade teacher. She was juggling so many things. It just goes to show what an amazing person she was. And not just because of what is in this journal, but also because of the very fact that she could juggle all of those things and still keep a journal. The first few years of my life are in here, and I have no idea where she found the time to do this. Just to give you a little indication of what her life was like during that time when I was really little and my sister was born in the 80s. Now I will ask her if she remembers a certain song from the 80s because I like 80s music. And she'll just be like, no, I don't remember any media from the 80s. She was not consuming any music, any TV. She was just taking care of us and working at that time. So she's like, I don't remember the 80s. Oh, I'm sure a lot of moms out there or caregivers in general out there can just relate to that. So this is one of my most precious possessions. All right, welcome to my kitchen. I'm sorry for the echo, but we are here because I want to show you this. This is by far the most dramatic thing I own. This is a pizza cutter. This is from my Uncle Larry, who has just kind of always been there. He's kind of the cool uncle. He just kind of walks in, he does his own thing. One Christmas, I got him a pair of monogrammed wine glasses, and I'm not sure if he felt the need to get me something monogrammed as well, but he did. This says Juan and Audrey. Yeah, it has all of these gorgeous sort of embossing, and then the box is also monogrammed. This is always a conversation piece. I have never used it, but I would definitely grab this in a fire. I would. It has brought so much joy to my life, and so many conversations have been had around this little number right here. So as a final thought for today, if you have a few moments, think about what the meaningful objects are in your own life. What memories do they bring up? And who do you feel connected to when you see these things? Are these objects in a place of prominence in your home, or do you keep them tucked away and then just kind of go and reach out for them whenever you feel the need to remember something or someone? That is all for today. If you like this video, please give it a like and subscribe. It really helps me in the YouTube algorithm. And if you'd like to show your support by visiting my Patreon is Beautiful Things. I will have it linked in the description box. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time.